Big thanks to Lit RPG Reads and Paul Bello, fine fellow, for sending over this article on the D&D alignment chart. It's called D&D Alignment Chart, Understanding Morality and Motivation in Fantasy RPG. And it really got me thinking about how much those 9 little boxes can influence a game. I remember one campaign where my character, a chaotic good bard, was constantly at odds with the party's lawful neutral paladin. Every decision was a debate. Do we follow the king's orders, even if they seem a bit shady? Do we steal from the rich merchant to help the poor villagers? You can imagine the tension. But here's the thing. Those clashes weren't just frustrating. They were what made the game so interesting. They forced us to really think about our characters' motivations, to roleplay those internal struggles, and to negotiate solutions that everyone could live with. It was like we were playing out different philosophies in real time, and it made the story way more compelling than just hacking and slashing our way through dungeons. This article digs into that complexity, showing how the alignment chart isn't just about labeling characters as good or evil. It's a tool for understanding how they view the world, what drives their actions, and how those beliefs can evolve over time. So let's get into it, shall we? The D&D alignment chart. It's a classic grid with 2 axes, lawful, chaotic, and good, evil. Now, I'm sure most of you listening are familiar with the basics. Lawful characters value order and structure, following rules and traditions. Chaotic characters, well, they're a bit more free-spirited, embracing individuality and often challenging authority. But it's not as simple as follow the rules versus break the rules. It's about how your character sees the world. A lawful character might believe that rules are essential for a just society, while a chaotic character might see those same rules as oppressive and limiting. And of course, you got that whole spectrum in between. Then you've got the good-evil axis, which, at first glance, seems pretty straightforward. Good characters are altruistic, selfless, looking out for others. Evil characters, well, they're driven by selfish desires, often at the expense of others. But again, it's more nuanced than that. Think about it. What does good even mean? Is it about following a strict moral code? Or is it about making choices that benefit the most people?
Even if those choices are morally ambiguous. And what about evil? Is it pure malice and cruelty? Or can it be a twisted form of pragmatism, doing whatever it takes to achieve a goal, even if it means crossing some lines? It's these questions that make the alignment system so fascinating, because it forces us to grapple with complex moral dilemmas, both in the game and in our own lives.
What's brilliant about the article's approach is that it goes beyond simply defining each alignment. It emphasizes the dynamic nature of these classifications. Your character's alignment isn't set in stone. It can shift and evolve as they face challenges, make choices, and experience the consequences of their actions. Imagine, for example, a lawful good paladin who's always upheld the law and protected the innocent. Now, let's say they uncover a conspiracy within their own order, a corruption that reaches the highest levels. Suddenly, their unwavering faith in the system is shattered. Do they stick to their principles and expose the truth, even if it means going against everything they've ever believed in? Or do they compromise their ideals to maintain order and stability? That struggle, that internal conflict, is where the real role-playing magic happens. It's in those moments that your character truly comes alive. And their alignment becomes more than just a label. It becomes a reflection of their growth, their struggles, and the choices they make in the face of adversity. The article highlights this beautifully with a real-life example. In the classic D&D module, The Curse of Strahd, there's a character named Irina Koliana, who starts out as neutral good. She's kind, compassionate, but also quite passive, however. As the story unfolds, she's relentlessly pursued by the vampire Strahd, forced to flee her home and witness horrific events. These experiences transform her, pushing her towards a more proactive and even vengeful stance. Her alignment subtly shifts to chaotic good as she embraces the need to fight back against the forces of evil. It's a subtle change, but a profound one, and it highlights how even seemingly minor events can have a ripple effect on a character's moral compass. And it's these subtle shifts, these moments of growth and change, that make role-playing games so engaging and rewarding. They allow us to explore not just the world of the game, but also the depths of our own characters, their motivations, their flaws, and their potential for transformation. What's often overlooked about the alignment system is its power as a storytelling tool. Think of it as a framework for understanding not just individual characters, but also the dynamics between them. A party with a mix of alignments is bound to have conflict, but that conflict, if navigated well, can create incredible drama and tension. Imagine a classic good versus evil campaign. The lawful good paladin and the chaotic good rogue might constantly butt heads, but they'll need to find a way to work together to defeat the evil sorcerer threatening the kingdom. Their contrasting approaches create tension and offer opportunities for compelling role-playing. Perhaps the paladin's rigid adherence to the law clashes with the rogue's more pragmatic methods. Maybe the rogue's cynicism challenges the paladin's unwavering faith. These clashes, while challenging,
Okay.
can ultimately lead to greater understanding and respect between the characters. And who knows, maybe the paladin learns to bend the rules a little, while the rogue discovers a sliver of idealism they never knew they had. That's the beauty of the alignment system. It's not just about labeling characters, it's about creating a dynamic and evolving narrative where those labels are constantly challenged, tested, and
Okay,
ultimately...
two more.
Okay, let's unpack this a bit more. We've got the two axes, lawful, chaotic, and good, evil. But how do they actually combine to create those 9 distinct alignments? We've got the classic heroes, the lawful goods, your paladins and noble knights, always striving to do the right thing within the framework of the law. Then you've got the neutral goods, the kind-hearted souls who aren't bound by strict rules but always try to do what's best in each situation. They're the mediators, the healers, the ones who see the good in everyone. And let's not forget the chaotic goods, the rebels with a cause. They fight for what they believe in, even if it means breaking the rules or challenging authority. Think Robin Hood, stealing from the rich to give to the poor, or a rogue who uses their skills to protect the innocent, even if it means operating outside the law. Then we move into the realm of neutrality. The lawful neutrals value order and structure above all else. They might be soldiers who follow orders without question, or bureaucrats who uphold the letter of the law. For them, it's not about good or evil. It's about maintaining balance and stability. Then you've got the true neutrals, the ones who seek balance in all things. They avoid extremes, preferring a middle ground approach. They're the diplomats, the mediators, the ones who can see both sides of every argument. And of course, there are the chaotic neutrals, the unpredictable wild cards. They're driven by whim and impulse, valuing their freedom above all else. They might be tricksters, adventurers, or simply free spirits who wander the world seeking new experiences. Now, things get a bit darker as we delve into the evil alignments. Lawful evils are the masterminds, the schemers who use the system to their advantage. They might be corrupt officials, tyrannical rulers, or cunning villains who manipulate others to achieve their goals. Neutral evils are all about self-preservation and personal gain. They're opportunistic, ruthless, and willing to do whatever it takes to get ahead, even if it means betraying others or breaking the law. Think assassins, mercenaries, or simply those who exploit others for their own benefit. And finally, we have the chaotic evils, the agents of chaos and destruction. They revel in mayhem and suffering, driven by a pure desire to cause harm. They might be rampaging barbarians, sadistic torturers, or simply those who take pleasure in the pain of others. It's a pretty grim picture. But it's important to remember that evil characters can be compelling and complex. Their motivations might be twisted, but they're still driven by desires, fears, and even a warped sense of loyalty. Understanding those motivations is key to creating believable and engaging antagonists. And who knows, maybe your players will even find a way to redeem those villains, to show them a path towards a different alignment. It's all part of the grand tapestry of storytelling that the D&D alignment system allows us to weave.
You've laid out a fantastic overview of the 9 alignments, but let's delve into something truly fascinating that the article touches upon, the decision-making alignment guide. This tool goes beyond simply defining the alignments. It provides practical advice on how to use your character's alignment to inform your choices in the game. Imagine you're faced with a moral dilemma. Do you lie to protect your friend, even if it means breaking the law? Do you sacrifice your own well-being to save a stranger? The guide offers specific examples of how each alignment might approach these situations. A lawful good character might prioritize upholding the law, even if it means making a difficult personal sacrifice. A chaotic neutral character, on the other hand, might act on impulse, following their gut feeling or prioritizing their own freedom above all else. What's particularly helpful is how the guide breaks down these decisions into different categories: combat, social interactions, exploration, and moral dilemmas. It's like having a cheat sheet for role-playing, helping you stay true to your character's alignment and make choices that feel authentic and consistent with their personality. For example, in combat, a lawful good character might focus on protecting the innocent and fighting honorably, while a chaotic evil character might resort to dirty tactics or even target non-combatants. In social interactions, a neutral good character might try to mediate conflicts and find peaceful solutions, while a lawful evil character might use manipulation and deception to achieve their goals. By using this guide, you can add a level of depth and realism to your role-playing. You'll find yourself making decisions that truly reflect your character's alignment, leading to more engaging and unpredictable gameplay. And the best part, The guide isn't a set of rigid rules. It's a framework for thinking about your character's motivations and making choices that feel true to their nature. It encourages creativity and allows you to explore the nuances of each alignment, leading to truly memorable role-playing experiences. And remember, a guide isn't just for players. Dungeon masters can use it to create more engaging scenarios and challenges that force players to confront their characters' beliefs and make difficult choices. It's a tool that can elevate the entire gaming experience, making your D&D campaigns more immersive, dynamic, and ultimately unforgettable.
This decision-making alignment guide sounds like an incredible resource. It's like having a compass to navigate those tricky moral dilemmas that inevitably arise in D&D. But, what I find fascinating is that even with this guide, there's still so much room for interpretation and personal choice. Two lawful good characters might approach the same situation in completely different ways, depending on their individual personalities, experiences, and even the specific circumstances of the encounter. And that's what makes the alignment system so dynamic. It's not about forcing you into a box. It's about giving you a starting point and letting you explore the infinite possibilities of your character's journey. So that you've got this guide to help you make those tough choices. But what about the bigger picture? How does understanding the D&D alignment system enhance the overall gameplay experience? What are the benefits of incorporating this system into your campaigns? Well, for one thing, it adds a layer of depth and complexity to your characters. Instead of just being a collection of stats and abilities, they become individuals with beliefs, motivations, and a unique worldview. This can lead to more engaging and believable role-playing, as players truly embody their characters and make decisions that align with their personalities. Beyond individual characters, the alignment system can also enhance the dynamics between players. As we discussed earlier, a party with a mix of alignments can lead to some fantastic conflict and tension, but it can also foster collaboration and understanding as players learn to navigate those differences and find common ground. Imagine a lawful good paladin and a chaotic neutral rogue working together. It might not always be smooth sailing, but those contrasting viewpoints can lead to some brilliant problem solving and creative solutions. The paladin might provide the moral compass, and the rogue might offer a more pragmatic approach, ultimately achieving a balance that neither could have achieved alone. And of course, the alignment system can also enhance the storytelling aspect of D&D. It provides a framework for creating compelling narratives, exploring themes of morality, justice, and personal growth. A campaign centered around the conflict between good and evil becomes even more intriguing when you consider the nuances of each alignment within those broad categories. A lawful evil villain might be a far more compelling antagonist than a generically evil one. Their motivations, their methods, and their ultimate goals are shaped by their alignment, creating a richer and more engaging story for everyone involved. But, the real beauty of the D&D alignment system is that it's not just limited to the game world. It offers insights into human behavior, morality, and the complexities of decision-making that can be applied to real life. Think about it. We all have our own internal compasses, our own sets of values and beliefs that guide our actions. Some of us are more inclined towards order and structure, while others embrace chaos and spontaneity. Some prioritize the greater good, while others focus on personal gain. And just like in D&D, our alignments aren't fixed. They can shift and evolve as we experience life, face challenges, and make choices that shape who we become. So, the next time you're struggling with a difficult decision, consider your own alignment. What are your core values? What motivates you? What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? By understanding your own alignment, you can get a deeper understanding of yourself and your place in the world. And who knows, it might even help you make those tough choices a little bit easier. We've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into the D&D alignment system. We've explored the basics of the chart, the dynamic nature of alignment, and the practical applications of this system both in the game and in real life. But we've only scratched the surface. There's so much more to uncover. So many fascinating insights to glean from Paul Bellows' fine fellow article. When we return, we'll delve even deeper into the nuances of each alignment, exploring how they manifest in different characters and how they can be used to create truly unforgettable stories. So stay tuned, adventurers, and prepare to level up your understanding of the D&D alignment chart.
Welcome back. As we delve deeper into these alignments, I'm struck by how much they mirror the complexities of human nature. It's not as simple as slapping a label on someone and calling it a day. Let's take the lawful neutral alignment, for instance. The article points out that these characters aren't necessarily driven by morality. Their priority is upholding the system, the rules, the established order. Now, on the surface, that might seem like a recipe for a very rigid, perhaps even boring character. But think about the possibilities. Imagine a lawful neutral judge who's known for her unwavering adherence to the letter of the law. But what if she's faced with a case where the law clearly contradicts her own sense of justice? Does she compromise her principles to uphold the system? Or does she find a way to work within the confines of the law to achieve a more equitable outcome? That internal struggle, that tension between duty and personal conviction, can make for a fascinating character arc. And it's not just about internal conflict. A lawful neutral character can be a catalyst for incredible drama within a party. Imagine that same judge adventuring alongside a chaotic good rogue. Their methods clash, their philosophies are at odds, but they need each other to succeed. The friction between them sparks debate, challenges assumptions, and ultimately forces both characters to confront their own beliefs and biases. The article also makes a really interesting point about how, even within a specific alignment, there can be a wide spectrum of interpretations. Take chaotic neutral, for example. It's often seen as the wild card alignment, prone to impulsiveness and unpredictable behavior. But chaotic doesn't necessarily equate to destructive. Think about a chaotic neutral bard who travels the world, collecting stories and spreading joy through music. They might be a bit of a trickster, prone to pranks and mischief, but their heart is ultimately good. They value freedom and individuality, not just for themselves, but for everyone. And then you have a chaotic neutral character, like a cunning rogue who operates outside the law. Driven by self-preservation and a thirst for excitement, they might be willing to bend the rules, or even break them, if it suits their purpose. But even they might have a code of honor, a line they won't cross, a certain loyalty to those they consider their own. It's those subtle variations, those shades of gray within each alignment that make the system so rich and nuanced, and it's up to us, as players and dungeon masters, to explore those nuances, to breathe life into these characters, and to make them feel real, relatable, and ultimately unforgettable.
I love that point about the spectrum within each alignment. Reminds me of a campaign I played in a while back. We had this chaotic neutral rogue who was, shall we say, morally flexible. He was all about personal gain, always looking for an angle, always ready to cut a deal, even if it meant bending the rules a bit. But here's the thing. He was also fiercely loyal to the party. He'd never betray us. He'd always have our backs in a fight, and he'd even share the loot sometimes. It was this weird mix of self-interest and genuine camaraderie that made him such a compelling character. We never knew what he was going to do next, but we knew he wouldn't leave us hanging. And that unpredictability, that tension between his chaotic nature and his loyalty to the group, made for some incredibly memorable moments. It's a reminder that the alignment system isn't about putting characters in neat little boxes. It's about providing a framework for understanding their motivations and exploring the complexities of their personalities. And sometimes, the most interesting characters are the ones who defy easy categorization, who straddle those lines between order and chaos, good and evil. One of the things I appreciate about this article is how it emphasizes the practical application of the alignment system. It's not just about philosophical debates or abstract concepts. It's about how these alignments can actually influence your gameplay decisions. The article mentions this decision-making alignment guide. And I've got to say, it's a game changer. It breaks down how each alignment might approach different situations. From combat encounters to social interactions to moral dilemmas, it's like having a cheat sheet for role-playing, helping you make choices that are consistent with your character's worldview. For example, let's say your party stumbles upon a group of bandits robbing a merchant caravan. A lawful good character might immediately jump into action, seeking to apprehend the criminals and uphold justice. A neutral good character might try to negotiate a peaceful resolution, while a chaotic good character might assess the situation and decide that the merchants are actually corrupt and deserve to be robbed. You see how those different alignments can lead to vastly different outcomes. And that's just one small example. The guide covers a wide range of scenarios, offering specific advice for each alignment and prompting you to think about the consequences of your choices. It's not about telling you what to do. It's about giving you the tools to make informed decisions that feel authentic to your character. It's about adding that extra layer of depth and realism to your role-playing, making those choices more meaningful and impactful. And you know what? This guide isn't just for players. Dungeon Masters can use it to create more engaging and challenging scenarios. They can tailor encounters to specific alignments, forcing players to confront their characters' beliefs and make tough choices. Imagine a scenario where a lawful good paladin is forced to choose between upholding the law and protecting an innocent person who's been falsely accused, or a chaotic neutral rogue who's offered a lucrative deal that requires them to betray their party. These kinds of dilemmas can really test a character's limits, leading to some incredible role-playing moments and potentially even shifting their alignment over time. It's all about creating a dynamic and evolving story where the choices matter and the consequences are real.
What's particularly fascinating about this, guys, is how it encourages us to think beyond those initial alignment labels. It reminds us that even within a specific alignment, there can be a wide spectrum of interpretations and approaches. Two lawful good characters, for example, might disagree on the best course of action in a given situation, even though they share the same fundamental values. One might be more rigid and uncompromising in their adherence to the law, while the other might be more willing to bend the rules if it serves a greater good. This nuance adds a layer of depth and realism to the game, allowing for more complex and realistic interactions between characters. It also encourages players to think critically about their choices and to consider the various factors that might influence their character's actions. The guide also highlights how a character's alignment isn't static. It can evolve and change over time based on their experiences, their choices, and the consequences of their actions. A character who starts out as lawful good might find themselves shifting towards a more neutral good or even chaotic good alignment as they encounter situations that challenge their beliefs and force them to make difficult decisions. And conversely, a character who begins as chaotic neutral might, through their interactions with others and the impact of their choices, discover a sense of responsibility or desire to make a positive difference in the world, leading them towards a more neutral good or even lawful good alignment. This dynamic aspect of alignment is one of the things that makes D&D so compelling. Your characters aren't just following a predetermined path, they're growing, changing, and becoming something new based on the choices you make as a player. It adds a layer of realism and complexity to the game that really enhances the role-playing experience.
That idea of alignment shifting over time is so crucial. It's like real life, right? We're not born with a fixed moral compass. Our values and beliefs evolve as we grow, learn, and experience the world. And the same is true for our D&D characters. Those choices they make, those challenges they face, they can have a profound impact on their worldview. A character who starts out as a naive idealist might become jaded and cynical after witnessing too much darkness. A character who's always been selfish and opportunistic might discover a hidden well of compassion after experiencing a moment of true connection with another being. That's what makes role-playing so engaging. It's not just about rolling dice and fighting monsters. It's about exploring the depths of your character's personality and watching them evolve over time, you know? One of the things that this article has really driven home for me is that the D&D alignment system is more than just a game mechanic. It's a framework for understanding human behavior, for exploring the complexities of morality, and for thinking about the choices we make and the impact they have on the world around us. And while it's certainly a valuable tool for creating compelling D&D characters and stories, its applications extend far beyond the gaming table. It can help us understand the motivations of those around us, navigate complex social situations, and even make more informed decisions in our own lives. So, whether you're a seasoned D&D player or just curious about the alignment system, I encourage you to embrace its complexities, explore the nuances of each alignment, think about how they manifest to different characters, and consider how those principles can be applied to your own life. And remember, the alignment system is just a guide, a starting point for your own explorations. The real magic happens when you bring your own creativity, imagination, and personal experiences to the table. And a huge thanks again to Paul Bello, fine fellow, for writing such a thought-provoking article, and to Lit RPG Reads for sharing it with us. It's been a fascinating journey, and I hope it's inspired you to think about alignment in new and exciting ways. Until next time, adventurers, keep rolling those dice, keep exploring those dungeons, and keep embracing the infinite possibilities of the D&D alignment chart.